What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on these analysis. We're going to be looking at MSTR today, Bitcoin, going over some indicators and different charts. So we're currently sitting at 377.53 in after hours. We closed at 377.02. It was a pretty decent day. Not the best day ever, but it started off very, very solid, and then it kind of died out. We pushed all the way up to 384, got some rejection, and we ended up closing at that 377 mark. If you look at the 4 hour, you can kind of see it a little better. The first 4 hours were pretty solid, and then we got pretty much nothing but rejection off of the second 4 hours. But I still think it was a pretty good day overall. When you look at the fact that we gapped up and we held it, that's a good sign. Overall, from this close, it was a 2.7 day, and we made it up to about 4.6% at some point in the day. Right now, we're just trending sideways, just kind of just chopping away, still in the same spot. We are starting to look at that double bottom as the more likely scenario right now. We will see, of course. But right now, it looks like it's potentially going to play out. And as I said previously, we have two key levels of resistance when you look at this downward sloping trend line and this major golden zone to the downside. So that could also be part of the reason why we rejected here, along with some other reasons on SMAs and stuff, which we'll go over in a little bit. But that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. We're going to get rejection here. Hopefully we can break through, and then at this downward sloping trend line, if we do get rejected from this point, I would imagine that we continue this chop until we finally make a decision to either break down, retest, and go down further, or the other scenario would be, if we get rejection here, to chop continuously and then break above this downward sloping trend line, retest, and eventually break this golden zone. But that's our biggest pain right now, this golden zone. We got to break through that. We are nearing this upward sloping trend line, the gray trend line here, the bottom of the channel. We continue to near it. We have support right here, and we're slowly just pushing to the right. So if we were to stay at the same level from 360 to about 384, we're going to be hitting it sometime in July, whether it's the second week or third week of July, something like that, if we stay at the same price target. So hopefully we can start to move up higher, and hopefully we can just break through, get a retest, and break past this 450 level. I think this is going to be our last key level of resistance, and then maybe we can start to find some volume on MSTR. Of course, we need to break out on Bitcoin. Bitcoin really hasn't gone anywhere. We did drop pretty significantly, and we spiked back up almost in the snap of a finger. I knew it was going to, or I didn't know that it was going to be short-lived, but I had an assumption that it would be short-lived, and it looks like that's exactly what it was. We did drop into the fear region temporarily from neutral. We fell all the way down to 37 on the fear and greed index, and now we're back at 47. So we're still in a pretty solid position right now. I think you can get a nice move off of here. Back to what we've previously spoke about, bull flag playing out. If this is our hypothetical bottom, then you're looking at something around the midline here, around 650 or 700 bucks, the midline of the channel for this specific bull flag. And then, of course, if you're looking on a larger scale, your bull flag is going to be this major leg up here, and this is a major bull flag. And if this is our bottom, which I believe it is, it could land anywhere around this region or somewhere over here at around the top of the channel, 1,100 bucks, 1050, who knows? It could shoot a little higher, it could undershoot it, but somewhere in that ballpark is the measured move with this bull flag. Now we take a look at the SMAs. This was a very good day in terms of the SMA because we fell underneath the 20 and the 50 pretty sharply, and then we just closed above both of them. So last time we closed above the 20 and the 50, as the 20 was starting to push up off of the 50, you can see it was right here in this region here. And we got a retest. We closed above, retested, how we always talk about, and then we had a pretty significant move from this wick. You can see we ran up 43%. But prior to that, we did push above, close, and then we actually opened extremely low and we held underneath it before actually getting that. So we got faked out this first time because we would expect a retest and push up higher, and it actually fell through. But the SMAs were in a different position where the 50 was still pushing down on top of the 20. In this scenario, the 20 was pushing above the 50, and in this scenario, the 20 is pushing above the 50. So that's why I want to compare it more to this one more than anything, but I feel like it's fair to also show this one as well. On the 4 hour, we closed above the 20, and then we pushed up, got rejected off the 50 on the 4 hour, and then we closed back underneath the 20. So we're really underneath both still in the same position, and we need to get a nice close at least above 382 here on the 4 hour to get a little bit of momentum to the upside and potentially get this 20 to flip above the 50 here. On the daily Bollinger Bands, we are getting rejection. As you can see, we pushed up through it and then we got rejected all the way back to it, but we did close on the daily above it. So potentially we could get a retest of this blue band and then potentially get a wick fill, which would be perfect. A wick fill is pretty much where the body of the next candle pushes all the way up to the top of this wick. So that would be nice to see, of course. So if that were to happen, we'd get a wick here off the blue Bollinger Band and then a nice full green candle to fill this wick here. That's what we want. That's what we're hoping for. But of course, it doesn't have to play out. And here on the 4 hour, we're still underneath the blue Bollinger Band. So hopefully we can get back on top of that and make our way up. On the 8 EMA, we did close back above it on the daily. So that's a good sign. And the 4 hour, we are holding above. So maybe we actually end up pushing all the way back, maybe in the beginning of tomorrow, to retest this 8 EMA. And then we start to try and break these wicks to finally make a move to the upside and then face this golden zone again. Tired of facing it. I want to just break through that thing already. But I think we will with time. Just got to be patient. I know I've been saying that for some time, but I mean, we were saying that back here, and we are much higher than we were when we were over here. So we're not doing too bad. On the weekly RSI, we did fall underneath, and now it looks like we're trying to push back above it. So we're almost at the yellow moving average. We're breaking through it. We're currently at it right now. We'll see if we can actually fall through or we actually push to the upside. We'll see if we push back down or break up. If we break up, then I think we get that retest of the yellow moving average and continue up. Once we surpass this 59.73, we could have a clean move to the top of this RSI sitting at 67, and that would bring a lot of strength to MSTR for a sustainable move to the upside. That's here on the weekly. On the daily, it looks like we're trying to get a bottoming pattern, maybe a double bottom or a triple bottom. I don't know, however you want to see it. I'll just say a double bottom for easier purposes, and I can see that playing out. It's kind of starting to play out. We'll see. We are at the yellow moving average as well, and at the 50 point, which is a midline. I think we're actually just above it, so we actually closed above it slightly. So now that's going to increase the likelihood of continuing up higher on the daily RSI, which is a great sign for the continuation of a bullish move. And here on the 4 hour, kind of the same situation, that double bottom, and we're already a little bit further along. We are above the 50 line, the midline, and we're well above our moving average. So let's see if we can break this 56.42 on the 4 hour RSI. On the daily MACD, we were creating that bullish or that bearish momentum to the downside, but it looks like the blue is starting to slow that movement down and start to go sideways a little bit. So I think I'm actually starting to see it curl too. So let's see if we can curl up and get this bearish momentum to die out and start to get the green flip and then have the blue push back above the orange here on the MACD. And on the 4 hour, that's exactly what we have. We had our push down, we pushed back up, fell down temporarily, and we got our bearish momentum to die out, and we're starting to see the green flip already. We just need the increase in volume and momentum, and we can already see that blue pushing above the orange here on the MACD for the 4 hour. When we take a look here at Bitcoin, you can see we had that sharp drop off because of geopolitical purposes and reasons. Fell down to 98.2. I said if we get a close underneath 98.2, then we are going to see 96,000, but we never got that. Never even retested the level. It just shot right up, which is nice to see. I love to see that. I didn't want to see us go any further. We got a nice little V-shaped recovery, and now we are actually very close. We almost closed. I mean, depending on how I draw the zone, I could make it, something like that. But we'll just say we're inside of the zone right now. But very, very close. That daily close here on Bitcoin to getting back to the upper half of this entire range, because the whole range is this entire area. That's the entire range. You have your mid-level, top level, and your bottom. So we pushed to the bottom and we shot right back up almost instantly. And now we're playing with the upper half of the region. So now we're looking at potentially chopping within this region and eventually either breaking out or breaking back down to the lower half of the range. That's kind of what I'm seeing. Ideally, of course, I want to see us break above it, retest, and then break through the top of the range, and then see all-time highs and run into that key level of resistance that we keep speaking of here on Bitcoin. As when you look at the larger time frame, you can see this has been established since the 2021 peak, the double top. You can see that we'd probably find some resistance at around 116 to 120 before being able to break up higher. And it looks like on the 4 hour, we're actually creating like a nice little bull flag. It's formed a mini bull flag here, and you can see that. And we're already breaking out of it. So when you measure like downward, I guess you could, it depends on how you draw it, but have it like that, then we already broke out of that mini flag that we were forming, and that should take us to much higher prices. That could take us to 111 or so like that. And we broke out. Let's see if we get a retest of this level and push up higher. But it is looking very bullish right now, especially this last 4 hour candle closed within the wicks here. So it's a strong candle. Volume is dying out a little bit, but let's see if we can get a ramp up. Hopefully we can get one of these explosive days, like an aftermarket like rally. That'd be nice to see. I don't know if it's coming today, but I guess the aura in the air, whatever you want to call it, it just kind of feels like we're getting to that point. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it definitely feels like it after a strong recovery like that. I feel like Bitcoin tends to have sharp drops before making its next leg up. So maybe that's all we were doing before pushing up higher. We like to do little things like that before pushing up. You can see like here and so on, and here before pushing up higher, you get that final dropout and then the push up higher. As you're pushing up, you get a sharper drop down, then a strong move up. So maybe that was it. We're just going up, pulling back, got a little move down, and then pushing up higher. And if we see it here on this leg, you can see we pulled back to the 382. It's a perfect bounce off the 382. Extremely bullish level. The more you pull back, the more bearish it gets, and the higher your pullback is, the more bullish it is with more momentum. So hopefully we can continue the momentum and it doesn't die out, and we can continue a nice rally. Hopefully we can get a multi-week, multi-month rally. I would imagine we would get some kind of cool off eventually, because we have really been running up since April 7th. If you look at the fact, we ran up 49% and we're currently up 41% from this low here. So something to keep in mind. And like I said, we have been running up around 40 to 50% from the previous highs, and this was the previous high. So if we ran up 40, you're looking at 150 to around 165 or so. That kind of makes sense. We'll see where things take us, of course. And when you draw a fib from the top here to the bottom of this leg. That 1618 where we tend to chop. 1618 is typically a magnet when you're looking at price targets. It likes to come up here and chop around. We kind of did that on the last leg as well. So when you take a look at this one, you can see that price chopped around the 1618. I'll actually draw it out a little further so you can see better. You can see that the 1618 was kind of that magnet level where we pushed up, and we've kind of just been playing around that 1618. So I kind of see that happening again, potentially. Depends if you want to draw it from this wick here or to here. I don't think it really makes that much of a difference in my opinion. But if you take it up, then yeah, the 1618 would be around there. So it all depends on how you want to draw it, like I said. And you would take it from this wick here. From this one here to here is how I would draw it. And that's kind of how I got that green line. So I'm thinking that price could be a magnet in this area and kind of just chop around here for its next for the next pause before continuing up higher. Best case scenario would be we just absolutely rip through here. That would be awesome. But I'm not anticipating that. I always want to be less bullish. I don't want to be too bullish because then I don't want to misguide anyone and have anybody anticipating something or making some kind of crazy move, betting the house on options and then losing everything. I don't want to be held responsible for that because that's just not how I am. I don't like doing stuff like that. Here on the SMAs, take a look at the daily. We're actually looking really good, man. We got a close above the 20 and 50, and then we got the rebound off of it, pushed up even higher, and we actually closed this close here right at the top of this wick, which is extremely bullish. And if we can break this wick here and this one, then we can start playing around this area. But this is a lot of rejection here. You can see these wicks are very, very strong. So we'll probably get rejected once we hit that 106.8 level, at least temporarily. I'm not saying it's going to be a long-term rejection, but something to keep in mind. I'll put on the 4-hour. You can see we actually closed above the 200, which is super bullish. But actually on the 4-hour, it looks pretty good. When you actually look at the 4-hour, it looks very, very good. So if we were to break above, don't make any trading decisions off of this. I'm just telling you what I see. So if we were to break above this level here on this wick, I could see us getting a clean move to about 107.6. And if we break that, then I could see us, so if we break this level, then I could see us making it to 108 to about 109. So, or 108.7 to about 109. So yeah, keep that in mind. Let's see how it plays out. I'll leave it on the chart too, just to see what happens. We'll see. But we are at the mid level of this range, so we could get rejection as well. You got to keep both things in mind. Anyways, on to tether dominance. You can see here on the daily, we pushed up and we got rejected off of this key level. This is the range that we've been talking about for a while now. So this range here is like our key level that we're looking at, this entire range. Kind of just like same thing as Bitcoin, where we have this upper part of the range, the lower part of the range. And we were talking about a breakout. We broke out and looks like we could be coming back to a retest, or we're going to fall all the way through and then break underneath this trend line, which is what we want. Because if that were to happen, then that means Bitcoin's going to have a massive rally. That's why Bitcoin's doing well, because we had this large red candle here on tether dominance. This is showing risk off to risk on. So this green move here, that's risk off. And as we're getting the red candles, is risk on, flowing into Bitcoin, altcoins, all of that kind of stuff. So that's a very good sign. And on the daily, we are running into the 20. So we could be getting a bounce here. But we could also fall right through. So I hope we do, honestly. But I have to, advise you guys that this is coming up, the 20-day, which is a strong level. And on the weekly, we also got rejected. We still have 5 days, so you have to be careful with this. Because last week we closed above the 20 and the 50, which is extremely bullish for tether dominance. And now this could just be a retest, wicking back up. I hope not, because if that happens, then Bitcoin's going to have a major drop off, But if we can close back above or below this 50, then now we're looking at retesting these levels and pushing on down. But I think things are looking very bullish overall. And here on the dollar, we're looking good. We're holding our trend downward. We were saying that we're expecting lower prices on the dollar, and it looks like that's exactly what we're getting. We've been talking about this for some time now. And I think once we break this 97.6, it opens up the idea of making it to the bottom of this range here, which lines up with these levels over here. And that would be around 95.5 to about 94.7. But we're still working on that right now. We need to get some daily and weekly closes underneath this level to increase the odds of pushing down further. But we are hugging this downward sloping trend line, and it's looking very bearish, which is essentially good for Bitcoin. And on the SMAs, we're also looking good as well. We got to push off of the 50 and the 20, and we're just, continuing the momentum to the downside. So it looks like we're trying to create fresh lows. If we get a sharp drop down, I would imagine we get a very strong move on Bitcoin. But if we kind of like easily ease into the drop and then maybe Bitcoin slightly climbs up, we'll see. But I think an aggressive drop on the dollar would be a very strong spike for Bitcoin. But you guys let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, subscribe, share with a friend, drop a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.